Welcome to the Senate E12 Finance Committee. Today is January 25th, 2007. It looks like we have a quorum here. However, members, today we will have a presentation by the Commissioner of Education, who I believe is running over from the House. She's right here. Beautiful. Commissioner Casilius and team, please approach the table. And members, we also then will have another presentation by Senate Fiscal Research. So today we're going to take a look at the governor's budget. So Commissioner Casilius, if you could come and join us. Okay, we do need those. I understand that. I know what that's like. And members, we will be taking questions. The Commissioner will be taking questions during the presentation. If they're brief, if they're longer things that might develop a longer answer, kind of jot those on your legal pad and we'll take them after. And so, Commissioner Casilius, welcome. Thank you. If you could kindly state your name for the tape, we look forward to hearing from you.
Brenda Casilius, Commissioner of Education.
And Madam Commissioner, we need you to talk right into the mic. Ours are very hot up here, but that one is not.
Got it. Can you hear me now?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, just like Verizon. All right. Thank you so much for having me here, Madam Chair, members, to present the Governor's Opportunity Budget for a Better Minnesota. When I was last before you, I spoke to the many accomplishments and significant investments we've achieved together over the past 6 years. This budget proposal builds on those investments by focusing on what counts and leveraging every dollar to structurally strengthen the foundation of our public schools, which is their bottom lines. This is the kind of budget I would have liked to have had when I was a paraprofessional, a teacher, a school leader, and school superintendent. But instead, most of my career, we were facing cuts every year, while the legislature and others shifted money or borrowed from our kids. But not this budget. These are real dollars, ongoing funding our schools can depend on. You won't see any shifts or gimmicks. There's not any borrowing, and there are no new programs. Let me repeat, there are no new grant programs. Simply, this budget invests in our children and families broadly across agencies while sharing and sharpening our focus on what will help our teachers, our school leaders to deliver on the promise of an excellent education for every Minnesota student. I'm happy to present to you today the specific E12 budget proposed by the governor, but those aren't the only investments in this opportunity budget. Not only is he recommending nearly $605 million for our kids in schools, if you look more deeply at the governor's overall proposal, you'll see kids all over it. In its whole, you will see many out-of-school supports that, if adopted, will help lift our children and their families who are urgently needing our support. That is what government's highest role is, to lift up all Minnesotans, from our youngest learners to our most vulnerable and needy, to our students entering college and starting their adult lives, and to invest and grow our middle class. The governor always says that a budget reflects our values and our priorities. Every year, with no exceptions and no excuses, Mark Dayton has put kids first. Acknowledging with real money throughout his overall budget proposal that the solutions to closing opportunity gaps once and for all, and building today's world's best workforce lies not just at the doors of our schoolhouses and our teachers, but also with our supports for housing, human services, employment, economic development, and support for our cities and our counties, so that every mom and dad has the opportunity for a paying job, stable housing, reliable health care, and a community that is free of discrimination. It is a team effort, and it will likely take all of us pulling in the same direction if we want to accomplish our very high expectations. This is the opportunity budget students, teachers, and families have been waiting for, and this is a budget we can all get behind. Let me share now what the governor is proposing in E12. We know that education is the engine of opportunity and results in success for all of our citizens. There are 2,213 public schools with over 55,000 teachers in Minnesota that serve almost 850,000 students in pre-kindergarten through 12th grade. Governor Dayton's education bill invests $604 million in students and schools and communities. We're laying a solid foundation for our students. As I stated in my opening comments, there are no new programs. This is really about fortifying budgets. There's been an increase in our general ed funding. This is 2 and 2 on the formula each of the years, with a per pupil increase of $121 the first year and an additional $124 the second year of the biennium. That's 2% over each of the years of the biennium. We believe also we need to meet the unique needs of our students. We've done a lot in our special ed reform to try to buy down the growing cross-subsidy that is experienced. That's the unfunded costs of special education that puts demands on our district's budgets. And so the governor's budget includes an additional $40 million, which is a 1.5% increase in special education, and lowers our cross-subsidy by 3%. And so we want to continue to whack at that cross-subsidy and that unfunded cost, because when those costs are rising, they get to be to a point where they just are very, very challenging, and then that can impact the services that are given to our kids with disabilities. We also want to provide pension relief, and this is really important because typically what we've done is we might do a 2% increase, but then we ask our districts to kind of cover for that. And, you know, now we're saying, no, we want these to be real structural fixes to your budgets, and we aren't going to leave you holding the bag with the pension relief for teachers. Plus, we know that pensions matter when we are trying to recruit and retain great teachers into our workforce. And we have a teacher supply problem. So we need to be sure to address these pensions so that they don't get out of control. We've seen in other cities like Detroit and Chicago what's been happening with their pensions and how very detrimental that can be if they get out of control.
Madam Commissioner, before you leave that slide, I'd like to talk a little bit about those pensions, just to have a couple questions for you there. We do know that we have a severe underfunding of our pensions. In fact, members will remember our first committee meeting when the Agency on Fiscal Excellence spoke. They gave us that large number of unfunded pension liabilities that we have, and it's not just in education, but
right
across the board. And there's something I just would like you to address here a little bit. So on the slide previous, we talked about certainly that 2% increase, which is very important. And we know that a good deal of that, of course, goes to teacher contracts, just as it does in any agency. You know, 75–80% of your cost is in labor. And the reason I bring that up is because those increased labor contracts increase our unfunded pension liabilities. And so I think it's something we need to recognize here, that we're, on the one hand, we're increasing compensation, and we should, but on the other hand, that we also have to realize that that's increasing our unfunded pension liabilities. And if we continue to have an assumed rate of return that is out of sync with what's able to be received, then our pension liabilities are going to continue to grow. And so I just, and the other thing I'm concerned about is that these pension liabilities, at least if I understand the governor's budget proposal here, are coming out of the E12 finance budget. And what I would say to that is we also have to be very cognizant of the fact that for every dollar that goes to pension relief, it's one less dollar that can teach a kid to read. It's one less dollar that can get mental health support in our schools. So I just set all that out, Commissioner, as setting the stage. And if someone has comments on where the governor is planning or where he's looking at this 22 to 45 million as far as where that might come from, certainly I'd just like your comments on those things.
Madam Chair, I was asking my committee, because I knew some of this was getting carried in the pension bill, but the policy is in the pension bill, but the funding is in our bill. And then your question was?
Well, my first,
sorry.
Let me get back to that. Why is not the funding in the pension bill?
Well, this is in our target, in our bill, and I think it's part of just fortifying our school district budgets, because there's employee share that we're covering at 0.5% over the 4 years, and so that's why it's in this bill. I'm not certain why the decision was made for all pensions funding,
Okay.
but I know that the policy is covered in the pension bill.
And that's something we can address here in the Senate, of course. But
Sure.
I just wanted to make those comments regarding unfunded pension liabilities. And sometimes in our best of intentions, we actually make those unfunded liabilities worse. Thank you.
Madam Chair, I'll continue. I do want to just add one comment to this, in that outside of the pensions and the contracts that teachers are and school districts are jointly agreeing to, certainly teachers aren't paid enough for what they do. And then secondarily, I think our pensions, and from my conversations with the TRA board as well, people are living longer. And so I think that because folks are living longer, that's also contributing to the longer time that we're paying in our pensions, and that's contributing to this need to have to kind of address these issues.
Yes, it is. And I would just say it's a dual effect.
Yes, absolutely.
Longer longevity,
yeah.
and then the having an assumed rate of return that is less than what is expected.
Right. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Senator Tomassoni.
Thank you. But, Madam Chair, so Commissioner, but adding the 22.2 and the 45 million doesn't make the problem worse. It makes the problem better, right? I mean, it helps us fund the pensions, and regardless of what the return is or how long the people are living, because there's more money in the pot. Is that what we're trying to do here?
Madam Chair, Senator Tomassoni, absolutely. It helps to address the shortfall that is anticipated, and this is helping districts cover their pension, and this is giving actual pension relief to the districts, but there's also recommendations from the TRA board around COLAs and also employee contributions that are part of this solution as well. So this is one part of a three-part solution.
Thank you, Madam Commissioner. I look forward to seeing that in the Pension Commission.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair. Next, I'd like to talk about setting students up for success. As you know, we passed American Indian Education Bill to address the nagging problems of graduation rates with our American Indian population. And this is specific to the $4.4 million that we want to continue for our 4 Bureau of Indian Education schools. As you know, they're woefully underfunded by the federal government. And, you know, here in Minnesota, we think that all students deserve an excellent education and an equal opportunity to that education. And to do so, we provided equalization aid to get it up to what was the average per pupil that all other students were getting. And if we don't do this funding for these 4 schools, what it will feel like is a real cut to these schools. And as you know, the Bug School just got a brand new school. I'd hate for them to get a brand new school and then not be able to have the teachers and the resources in order to meet the expectations that we have in Minnesota for an excellent education. So that's $4.4 million of funding, which we currently provide, but is set to sunset, that we would like to put in ongoing funding for them. More student support staff. As you know, this is not a new program. This is expanded support for additional counselors, social workers, chemical health workers, nurses, and this would provide 30 new student support staff positions. Of course, this is getting better at moving towards solutions toward the problem. We had a real good discussion about this in the House just now, and how this is a growing need in our schools to have counselors and school support staff to assist our students.
Commissioner, where would those 30 new student support staff positions be placed?
This is a grant opportunity, so schools would apply for that, and then they would let us know how they were going to use the money. It's a grant for over 6 years, and currently we have a grant that we're administering where there are 70 new positions within our schools across all of Minnesota.
That are eligible for the
That
grant?
are eligible, yeah. Yes.
Thank you.
We also believe in supporting community partnerships in our transformation zones. Having this coordinated effort of having stakeholder engagement is critically important to having everyone involved in the local level in making these decisions in their world's best workforce plans. And providing early learning services as well as other support services so they're not duplicative, and partnering with our city, county, and our nonprofit communities. So the governor's bill provides $1 million to support 7 partnerships serving 24,000 kids and families. Also, we, a few years ago, started investing in full-service community schools. These are schools that provide wraparound services for students right on site there in the school, like health clinics and services for parents. And so mental health services, those kinds of services in our full-service community schools. So this would be ability to expand those as well. One of the things that we know is important is supporting teachers in the classroom. And one of the ways we can support our special ed teachers is by reducing their paperwork burden. We've worked on this since day one. The governor has wanted to continue to find ways to reduce paperwork. We are able to reduce the administrative burden right away. But we've had a tougher time finding consensus around the forms and eliminating the required federal and state mandated forms for special education. And so we're looking forward to partnering with all of you to continue to find a consensus with our stakeholder advocates and community and ways to reduce that paperwork as well as funding the online IEP system. We think this is a more efficient way to do IEPs. It also is a way to streamline the forms so that school districts know what are exactly the federal and state required forms. And we believe this could provide a 25% reduction in the amount of paperwork that teachers are doing currently. And we think that then means that they'll have more time to spend with their kids.
Commissioner, this is welcome news. As a former special education teacher myself, and I'm hearing it across the district as members have told me as well, this is a concern, the paperwork. But I do have one question, though. Currently, most of those IEPs are online, and the challenge is, as you said, kind of streamlining and also some consistency in these forms. The last I talked to my special education teachers, the kindergarten teachers were needing to fill out why it was that their special education kindergartners were not receiving career training and counseling. So there's some things like that that are just a little bit out of sync. But I would like to know, the $1.5 million, what is that for exactly?
That's for the system, to build the system over the biennium. I believe it's 860 the first year, 622 in 19, and then 750,000 after to satisfy the RFP that we have for that system. Also want to know that there are some school districts that do have their own systems, so we'd be working on an interoperability framework, big word, so that those could feed up into this system as well, so that then if a student's special ed in Rochester could move to Monticello, and once enrolled and paperwork has been signed by the parents for release, they can go in and access those forms. So then those school districts don't have a lag in getting that information on the student's IEP, as well as they don't have to recreate the whole IEP if it's current.
And then what's the process to getting to really what you candidly said is a harder job, which is getting that agreement on what those forms should be? What are you anticipating on the process for that? Because that's really where this has fallen down in the past.
Madam Chair, we have tried to bring about consensus on those forms, and we've actually reduced some of the forms. And we've gotten to where we can, so having more help on that would be welcome to try to get to that place where we're providing the services we need for students for their least restrictive environments, and parents are getting the information that they need to get around the services that their kids are getting in a very transparent way, but that we're not burdening our teachers. I think the one reason teachers don't go into special ed, one of the largest reasons is because of the paperwork burden. I mean, I hear this all the time as I go around. My sister is a special ed EA, or was a special education assistant until recently. Now she's caring for our elderly parents. But I said, why don't you go be a teacher? And she'd say, no, because I like to teach. I mean, she just loved to spend time with children and help them with their goals. So this is something we really ought to get done. I think this is not much money, and I think it would really help our teachers quite a bit. Securing school funding and student data. Just in full disclosure, we don't have that machine on the right-hand side. But it acts like that machine. It is called Cobalt. The language that our current mainframe uses. It was built in 1974. I think we have less than a handful of people that actually know how to work that thing. I came before this committee the last few years and asked for funding to replace it. If we wanted to replace the whole system in the way that it ought to be replaced, it would cost about $20 million. But this $3.2 million is just an update to the mainframe, to ensure that we're able to have co-speaking languages, I think is how they put it. I'm not the IT guy, but I do know that this $3.2 million will help us to secure that system. Providing support and assistance to our educators and kids. This is the core piece of what we do. 7 years ago, or 6 years ago now, we came before and put out the 7-point plan, and part of that plan was to have an agency that supports schools. And we have greater and greater urgency about closing achievement gaps. We have more and more school districts saying they need help in addressing the needs of all their kids, and we just lack the capacity in which to do it. Costs are increasing because we've increased salaries and health benefits and pensions, as well as our lease is more expensive than what it was. Their operating costs, our IT costs are more expensive. And we don't have the personnel in which to deliver on the world's best workforce, which we know is going to be driving some of our accountability over the next several years as we work with schools and their strategic plans and their strategic alignment of their budgets to close achievement gaps. And so this agency ask here is to provide better service and better government to our teachers and to our school leaders, so that they're meeting their goals that they've set in their world's best workforce plans.
How many FTEs is that?
It would be an additional 5 FTEs, and that's mostly around data analytics, around supporting our world's best workforce. As you know, we monitor those plans every year in their summaries, and we provide technical assistance on data analytics to our school districts, and then specific professional development and training around literacy initiatives, et cetera. And then it would help us maintain 15 positions because of potential cuts to the agency. So we need this funding in order to maintain an additional 15 positions.
So 5 FTEs.
That would be new.
New FTEs, and then maintaining 15 positions. So, and I realize you said there was the cost of the lease, and we know energy costs are going up and all of that. What was the salary increase for the 15? I mean, is part of this driven by contracts for the remaining 15, and what amount is that, or what percent roughly? You can get back to me if you don't have it.
Also, there's a big chunk of it too that I don't want to miss out, and that's the $2 million in legal fees as well. I want to be sure that you know about the 2 big lawsuits that the state is facing currently around segregated schools and teacher tenure.
Is that part of this as well, those legal costs?
Yes, that's $2 million. The AG's office wrote a letter that said that their anticipated costs would be about $1.2 million a year. And so it's about $722,000 for technology, $450,000 a year to maintain, and $720,000 a year to expand school student support, which I talked about. $300,000 a year for fixed costs and operating as the lease agreement. That was negotiated before my coming. It was a 10-year lease. And that's due to increase about $90,000 a year. And then $700,000 FY18 and $1 million annually thereafter for compensation, which is specific to the question you just asked me.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And Senator Pratt has a question.
Okay.
Senator Pratt.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Commissioner, so you mentioned specifically world's best workforce support. The idea being, as I recall, when we put it through, world's best workforce was supposed to really be more about realigning what we do. So can you help me understand the need for world's best workforce support, and was that part of the fiscal note when the bill came through?
Madam Chair, Senator Pratt. I don't recall the bill coming through in 2013, but I can certainly ask my policy staff in just a moment, and they can check. What I can tell you with World's Best Workforce is I think it's our best opportunity in which to help school districts strategically plan, align their budgets, meet their goals, and to provide expert service around closing of achievement gaps with EL students or their American Indian students or literacy or mathematics or special education. And what we do is we don't gather their plans, but we get a summary every year. And right now the agency is reading those, and we just kind of do an all-call, and we read those and try to provide the best quality that we can to our school districts around that. And then we also provide them feedback on their summaries and how they're doing. And what we've heard from the field is that they'd like a little bit more technical assistance in strategic planning. They'd also like a little bit more technical assistance in data analytics, and so in trying to understand the continuous improvement process. And then what we know through our work with regional centers is, and the bottom 5% of schools that we've been working with, is that when we go into school districts and we provide that technical assistance around a needs assessment, it helps them with the alignment process. Many times the QComp person who's writing the QComp plan is over here doing that work, with the integration person who's doing the integration work, and the person who's doing facilities is not talking to any of them, and the person who's doing school improvement Title I plans is not talking to them, or it's the curriculum specialists and directors aren't talking to each other. And so the World's Best Workforce, we go out and help them with that alignment and give them technical assistance, help them with setting targets and SMART goals, help them in implementing and do training around implementation, monitoring for the school districts. And we just really are good coaches and support to districts as they try to continuously improve. And that to them has been really beneficial, is what I've heard from the field. So it's really to buy a few positions to help with that process and that oversight of data analytics and providing the technical assistance for that strategic planning process, review of summaries, and then technical assistance.
Senator Pratt.
Thank you, and I wasn't trying to get into a justification for World's Best Workforce necessarily as much as trying to understand how much of the $10.4 million was needed to support that. And then you and I have been talking about trying to do some savings, some realignment along the World's Best Workforce so that we can reduce the burden on local school districts and the burden on your staff. How much of a savings do you think that would provide, and couldn't that be used in somewhat to offset some of this expense?
Commissioner Casilius.
Madam Chair, could you, Senator Pratt, talk with me a little bit about, so I can better understand your question?
Sure.
Senator Pratt.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Commissioner, you and I have been talking about how to reduce some of the reporting coming into your district to improve the efficiency and lessen the burden on local school districts, improve the efficiency in your department.
Yeah. Oh,
That should help
create
some savings that could then be applied to administering World's Best Workforce reporting.
Yes.
I'm wondering how much is that factored into how much of the 10.4 do you need to support World's Best Workforce? And would those operational savings would that be net of operational savings, or would operational savings then offset some of that expense?
Commissioner Casilius.
Madam Chair, Senator Pratt, I'll give you one example of what I think you're referring to. For instance, our QComp division, we've currently been funding with Title II funding, which is from the federal government to support QComp. That's about 6 individuals who have historically read plans and provided technical assistance to school districts. And if they didn't have to read these plans, we could deploy all of them out to school districts to support their professional development in many different areas. The department could use a social studies specialist. We could use additional specialists with science and art and all of the well-rounded pieces we're trying to put into our new ESSA plan. But this is just a few positions that we're asking for here. And it's really about the administration of the World's Best Workforce goals. But if the agency did not have to do all of the plans and we could get to one World's Best Workforce plan, we could free up employee time in reading plans or approving forms. Now, some of that we need, like in our fiscal area, we may need, facility plans, so, review and those sort of things. So I would urge this committee, and my staff stands ready to continue to work to eliminate as many plans or forms, both on the district side and our side, that aren't useful or helpful and are included already in the World's Best Workforce and addressed in the World's Best Workforce, because we should be getting to one district cohesive plan that districts are using. Everybody knows where every dollar is, and then they use that strategically in order to meet their goals. And then all we need is a simple summary of did you or did you not meet your goals? And what are you going to do in order to meet them better, and can we help you? As you know, World's Best Workforce this year is due to mature after 3 years of having it, and in our policy it says that the commissioner has the authority in which to set aside 2% of your general ed funding in order to more aggressively meet your goals at the local level. That 2% could be used to for districts to do school improvement. And so I think it's really important accountability piece that we have at the state, and an opportunity in order to really address these nagging achievement gaps that we have.
Thank you. Senator Pratt.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Well, thank you, Commissioner. The 2% enforcement might be something we want to talk about, but certainly I'm looking forward to working with your staff on getting a solid proposal so that we can actually move the bill through this year.
Yeah.
Commissioner, that's a good goal to try and streamline, and that'd be a great thing for the department really to head up.
Yes.
I believe. But I have one other question before we leave this slide. 15 full-time employees are kind of part of this funding is to augment the additional costs that they have incurred since being at the department, those contracts and such. How are those 15 full-time employees originally funded, and where was that from?
Those are current. I don't have it broken out by division. We can certainly get that for you, but those are currently 15 positions that we would have to cut if we were not given the increase. But we'll definitely get you a breakout of those 15.
So, all right, you could tell that we're having a difficult time digesting this particular slide. We've spent a good deal of time on it. So if you, and I couldn't see in the budget booklet really how this was itemized, so it would be very helpful if you could itemize the rationale for that $10.4 million.
Madam Chair, I'd be glad to do that.
Continue, please.
Yep. So we, of course, are not only investing additional resources into the school district's bottom lines and some student support and wraparound services, but the governor has, for his entire term, wanted to have more of our youngest learners be ready for kindergarten. So we're going to propose investing in a voluntary pre-kindergarten. As you know, we couldn't serve the needs of about 6,800 kids last year that wanted to do voluntary pre-kindergarten, and we had a number of districts that we had to turn down. We do have the program in about 74 districts right now. It's ongoing, so once you get funded, they get to keep their funding, which is wonderful. So those 3,300 children are being served well in their school districts. And we also have scholarships that serve about 11,219 kids currently. We hope that with this $75 million proposal, we'll be able to meet the need of what school districts are saying right now, who are ready for kindergarten. They have the facility, they're ready, they want to open their doors to those 6,800 kids, and this covers that. It expands then by $1,000 students and participants every year after that. So this is a program that is being established. It's like adding a grade at school for those families that choose a school-based option.
Commissioner, I certainly applaud the focus on early childhood. We know how important it is that kids are ready for kindergarten when they get there. And are you covering the early learning scholarships?
Next slide.
Okay, we'll talk about that in a moment.
So what we're doing with early learning scholarships is expanding the program 0 to 5. We've listened to the advocates and really covered some of the brain research that shows that starting earlier with some of our high at-risk populations is what's needed. Starting at age 3 or 4 just is too late for some of our students. And so we think it's smart to be able to expand these back ages 0 to 5.
Commissioner, it is smart. What's the added, investment in that? I don't see that listed anywhere, and I didn't see that in the book either. So how much additional funding is the governor allocating to those early learning scholarships where parents can choose? And of course, then we're going to expand it to 0 to 5. So how many additional dollars is the governor allocating to that?
So, Madam Chair, the governor has really put forward a mixed delivery system and choice options for families, and we currently serve 11,219 students in our early learning scholarships, and we serve just 3,300 in our VPK program. So all of his investments currently are to bring the number of preschool up to the number of scholarships that we have. So there's no new dollars put into early learning scholarships, just an expansion in access.
Thank you.
We also believe in connecting families to services. We've been working with some of our special ed funding to be able to support a program called Help Me Grow, which is a referral program. And we think we can provide about 630,000 children and families supportive services and referral services to special ed services and other social services. So we provide about $1.5 million per year to reach 630,000 students. This would be money through our children's cabinet.
And Commissioner, what are the results so far? What's the funding to this point? Mm-hmm. And what type of results have you seen?
Wait, do you have information on Help Me Grow? Or Bobby? I'm gonna let Bobby or Wei speak to Help Me Grow. How about I give them a minute to get themselves
Sure.
ready?
Commissioner, we'll come back
Yeah.
to your
And then I'll-
testifiers in just a moment to
Great.
talk about Help Me Grow results. But go ahead for just a moment.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Well, I think that was my last slide, actually.
Okay. Welcome
So
to.
I just want to put emphasis on this, that Minnesota's workforce is in our classroom. They're sitting right in a Minnesota classroom today. So I just wanted to say that.
Thank you, Commissioner. Welcome to the committee. Please introduce yourself, and we look forward to hearing about Help Me Grow results.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My name is Bobby Burnham, and I serve as Director of Early Learning Services at the Department of Ed. Help Me Grow is a relatively, it's funded right now through a combination of very small amount of funds from Department of Health and Department of Human Services and MDE. Our early childhood special ed federal funding helps support the work of the Minnesota Help Me Grow model. And this ask in the governor's budget right now is to expand the Minnesota model actually into the national Help Me Grow model. Even with the funding that we do have, the numbers of referrals have grown and grown from month to month. I think I would have to get the exact data, but I think recently, the last month of data, was over possibly 12 to 13,000 referrals. So that is up considerably. The goal of the going to the national model is to really spread it beyond into all communities. And like the commissioner said, it would be reaching over 630,000 kids, and it's a community-based model. It's the goal is to implement a referral system across the state and within the different regions for families to use and to connect families to multiple public services, and as well as serve as a follow-up to those services. So right now, it's a family calls in. We have one staff member at MDE that takes most of those calls, and she refers them out to the different services. Part of this funding would go to creating a master call program where it could handle way more calls and have better knowledge of all the different community services in all the different regions. And then there would be a follow-up component to that program. So it's really reaching all kids, and it's an early intervention model, which down the road could save thousands of dollars in other support services as the child grows older.
Yes, prevention does that. That's a good thing. Now, is there additional, are there additional federal dollars that are tied to our increased state investment? And also, if you could talk about additional dollars from Health and Human Services that the governor might be requesting for this program.
Well, at this point, over the last year, we've done a kind of an exploration year with the folks out of University of Connecticut, I believe, to explore how ready the state of Minnesota is to transition to the national model. So each agency contributed, I believe the cost of the TA we received was around $130,000, so we divided that between the three agencies. And there is considerable money that our early childhood special ed division contributes to the regional system to support Help Me Grow, and I don't have those exact numbers with me, but it's into the hundreds of thousands. So that support would remain because we've built that regional system within the Division of Early Learning Services to support that piece of it.
Thank you. And then do we have metrics yet about shorter time for referrals, better outcomes with students? Because as you talked about, prevention certainly saves time and cost down the road. Have we been able to get any metrics on those type of savings yet, whether it be in time to getting the services needed or better outcomes for kids?
I would be happy to get you that data.
Great.
I need to go back to my staff to get that data. But we do, if this were to get funded, we do have multiple indicators to measure the impact of expanding to the national model. And I could list those if you'd like.
Thank you. I look forward to the data. And I didn't hear about the $1.5 million, either if it's coming out of Human Services or if it's coming out of the governor's education budget.
Madam Chair, the 1.5.
Please introduce yourself for the tape.
Brenda Casalius, Commissioner.
Oh, gosh, I didn't recognize you without your glasses, and I've got mine on. But go ahead,
Here.
Commissioner. We'll change those specs. Go ahead, Commissioner.
Madam Chair, we're carrying it in our budget, but it'll be administered through the Children's Cabinet.
Thank you. Oh, continue, please. Or Commissioner.
Other questions now?
Yes, any other questions from the committee? Senator Uyghur, I can see you fine. Please ask your question.
Thank you, Senator Nelson. And first, just a comment. I want to applaud the governor, the commissioner, and staff for putting together an ambitious program that's going to allow us to continue to make progress on the formula, the 2 and 2. I'm very pleased about that. For special education to continue addressing the cross-subsidy issue, the paperwork, whatever we can develop there, the need for additional support staff in the classroom, other items that have been identified. And I'm sure there's more depending on resources, targets. I'd like to see something in concurrent enrollment as well as a challenge, as I'm sure you would as well. But Madam Chair, there's a couple of additional comments and some brief questions, if that's okay, since I've...
Commissioner Uyghur, or Senator Uyghur, go ahead.
Okay.
To the commissioner.
World's best workforce, that's the accountability, and I want to encourage every member on the committee, if you haven't looked at your own school district's reports, please do. It's going to give you that basic information when you meet with the board, and I'm assuming you're meeting with your local school boards as to the graduation achievement gap, third grade proficiency, Ready for K. You might get that on Ready for K, but you want to make sure that something has been submitted. And Commissioner, when we last talked, you had said about 50 districts still, or charters, I'm not sure, but there are several that had not even submitted a plan yet. That was of concern to me, and I was wondering if you could update us on that.
Commissioner
I certainly
Casilius.
understand the importance of streamlining, reducing the paperwork, but for goodness sakes, we need some type of accountability for this investment.
Commissioner.
Madam Chair, Senator Uyghur, we were asked this question in the House as well as we began to really see this system mature. We have 19 school districts and 3 charters that have not turned in their summaries yet. Again, they don't have to turn their plans into us. It's just a simple couple-page summary to just let us know are they or are they not meeting those goals within the world's best workforce, and then we provide feedback to them on those summaries.
Senator Uyghur.
Okay, well, thank you. And Madam Chair, Commissioner, I'm just going to mention a few topics which I know we will dive into much more in subsequent meetings, and I have already touched on some. But for early education, the metric that we had in statute is, Ready for K, and I don't know if that was 10 years from now for 100%. But right now, we have it just voluntary as to how we measure it by a readiness instrument. And so it's very difficult for us to know as we look at tens of millions of potentially additional dollars as to how we're really doing, other than a lot of warm fuzzy stories. And so that would be really helpful for me. Tomorrow morning, there's a meeting I think everybody's invited to that Senator Abler, Senator Nelson have encouraged others on the health, human service, and education overlap. But, that's one issue. The other is reading, another key measuring point for world's best workforce for proficiency by the end of third grade. And the testimony, I think Dr. Ani and others said that for us to meet that goal, it would be 2064. And we need to do whatever we can to accelerate that. I'm sure you would agree with that, but
Senator Uyghur,
we might want this more reflected.
Yes, I greatly appreciate those comments, especially the early literacy. I just want to mention that we are running out of time. We have another presentation today. So if you could maybe get the rest of your questions offline or address the comments, we'll be sure and include them in the minutes.
Madam Chair, the last point was smarter testing. And we'll have a bill on that.
Thank you. Any further questions, members, or comments for the Commissioner? Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
We appreciate your testimony today.